That now, Nemesis. Do I have some sound now? Nope, still no sound. Oh no, there we go. There's sound now. So I've been in streaming for how long now? 20 minutes in silence. Yeah, 28 minutes in silence. That's okay. Oh, these things do happen. I was clearly distracted by all the things. Well, I mean, I think that streaming a lot is talking to myself. But yes, I've just been talking to myself. It's all good. Well, all that talking to myself has led me to a green belt, so that's fine. Well, it was mainly troubleshooting all the stuff that I was having trouble with. So look, my little Darth Vader rubber duck is most impressed with my troubleshooting steps. That's alright. I'll just trim the beginning of the recording that goes up onto YouTube so that people don't have to sit there and be like, the first 30 minutes is quiet. So yeah, but I hope you've had a great week. So mine's been interesting. It was fine up until like today, and things were kind of coasting. It was a bit of a cruisy week. And then yeah, the email dropped in this evening with the MVP. So that's super exciting. Okay, where are we with all of this? But I think this just reinforces that I need to get a better starting checklist when I start stream and make sure that, because I think every time I have a look at what's doing that. Alright, so we've got images going. So we come in here, check our containers. So that's the app container, which we haven't got running properly yet. But let's check our registry. Yeah, started the stream and everything was great, except for the audio. Yeah, okay. We don't... This repository we don't need yet, because that's incorrect. But now we have 22 and latest. Sweet. So, we're getting somewhere. Now I just need to update the container app so that it is running the correct thing. So we're mostly going to use Azure CLI to do this within the pipeline. So let's bring up the code again. So we've got our image tagging in place, and now we want to yes, web apps deploy, but I don't think web apps deploy does what I want it to do here, because that's going to deploy to a kind of a normal app, which we don't want. So I don't know if there is a action for container apps yet, but we can have a look at that. Okay, let's go and have a quick sticky beak, see if we can find, see if there's a GitHub action specifically for container apps. Looks like there is. And that's doing a build and deploy, but we just want to deploy an existing container and have that actually go in. so we just need the registry, resource group, image to deploy. So I think we can do that. So let's grab that task, bump you in there. Okay. Now, so the registry name. Now, is it going to want the full name? What's this doing? I've already done the assignment. That should be fine. Okay. So ACR name. Doesn't it was just this my registry doesn't tell, but I think it means just this one. So that should be all good. Alrighty. So that's that. Container app name is, what did I call this? It's in our infra. Here, containing image. So demo app. This is what I named it for the moment. So this is maybe stuff we will put into kind of variables. And what is the resource group? Resource group is this one. So yeah, all things that can be put into variables. And then image to deploy is that. And then it's the app name, which if we go this, so that's the container name. And we're not using the SHA, we are using the run number. My cat's decided he wants to try and get in and out and beat things up. Are we good? Yeah, he's good. Alright. Cool. So, got that. Let's add in and let's see if that works. Okay. Now, it won't trigger a run on its own, so we'll do a dispatch. Refresh that page, and here we go. Alrighty. Lots of little more steps now. Cool. So we do our image build. So, and this is one of the things where as your builds get longer and longer, you kind of get to the point where it's taking more time, so that when you get to errors, you've had to go through the whole process, and it's one of the issues that I find with troubleshooting build pipelines is that if you're adding new things, you've got to factor into the time that it's going to have to run the whole pipeline first before it gets to the new stuff, and then that new stuff can fail, which means you're waiting a lot. But sometimes there's not much you can do about that, because until you got to that spot, you don't know if it works. Worst example I've had of that at the moment is doing Azure Image Builder, and it can take like up to 4 hours to fail. So you can set some timeouts to try and make it small, like an hour and a half or something, but you've got to be careful, because if you set it too short, the image build may not complete, and you'll just be dumping out before the image build completes. But yeah, if it has an issue, it'll run all the way to timeout, not just fail once it's an issue. Would be nice to have some detection of it's caught in the loop, or it's doing something where it's not progressing. Sorry. So bail out before it just sits there for an hour or for 2 hours. All right, we had a failure in here. Unable to get AZ, please run AZ login setup account. I thought did I not do? No, I haven't. Okay, there we go. Shit, I missed a step. Is that correct? I'm doing it here. No. So let's make sure I do it the same way, because I'll have access to the same things. Thank you, Power Toys, for popping up. Really should update Power Toys. Okay, so that's the login, so missed that. Okay, and let's go try this again. Cool, that's pushed up. Go through our actions. Run the workflow. Cool, and back to the build. So yeah, as I was saying before in the muted part of the stream, where I wasn't actually talking, there was the issue I was having last time where we were not successfully building out the infrastructure, and I have fixed that. And that was the issue where I hadn't actually added this registries section in here, so it wasn't actually knowing where it was trying to log in to registry. So I think it was trying to like log into Docker or something like that, in the Docker hub. So we're missing that. Once I added that in, because I already had all the identities correct, but I was missing it. So that's in. Then we've been able to start actually pulling containers, pushing containers, things like that. And the app is built. At the moment, we're kind of setting it as a basic image, but I think I have to tear it down and rebuild it to get the first images deployed. But that's fine, because we will be deploying the images through the second pipeline anyway. So let's go back. So here we go. All right, so back to our push. Yeah. We're pushing a latest and a specific build number, which is usually good, because it means if something happens, you need to restart the container app service itself or redeploy it. It's always going to grab latest. I'm sorry, very yawny tonight. All the excitement of before is obviously worn me out. Just go through that more Docker build. That looked like it was all clean, and that told me that we did a deploy. Okay, so it was doing version 24. Okay, cool. So let's go and check. So it's the repo. Here's the demo app. Doesn't seem to have. Doesn't seem to have done anything specific. Let's have a. Still says it's running Nginx. Interesting. Maybe I need to hit the endpoint because it's currently scaled to 0. Well, let's try the endpoint. Now the endpoint's still telling me it's running Nginx. Should definitely not be the case. So we're running the container apps deploy action. That's slightly problematic. Failing to load ACR. This user admin is disabled. Well, that's definitely not true. Or is it true? Okay. Is true. Give me a sec. I thought I had fixed that one. Clearly I had not. Is there a hidden save button somewhere? Just making sure that setting actually took hold. Okay, that seems to be okay now. Let's try. Put this back over here. Let's try and refresh that. Okay, well, let's try and rerun this build then. As we did not get that going. Because there's obviously other ways to set up the continuous integration, but I'm trying to set this up through the CI/CD process, not having it just automatically go through there. But yeah, I don't want every deployment to make a new revision, because then I have to manage the revisions. Through this one again. we'll be able to roll between, and then what we'll be doing is we'll actually be migrating versions from the container registry to another container registry. So we'll actually be kind of promoting. So we'll be promoting a specific image. And then that image will exist in the next environment and then be deployed into the next environment's container apps. And that's kind of how we'll ensure that the same build is always moved, so we're not kind of rebuilding at any stage, because that can be a problem. If you rebuild, that's a new build entirely, and you don't want that to be happening. You want to be certain of what the build is that you're deploying. Alrighty. Right. What are we doing here? We actually... that's interesting. Why that number looks wrong. That looks correct. Well, let's go and see, have we made any changes here? Does not look like it. Nope, it's still full page reload. And then if we reload this, I reckon that'll just reload to that ingress. Yeah, what's going on here? That's annoying. Okay, might be time for a bit of command line playing. Do I not have AZ in here? Give me a sec. I will be right back. back. Alrighty, where were we? Apparently I don't have the Azure CLI installed. That's because I'm in a dev container. I can't remember. How do I install the Azure CLI into the dev container? See if Copilot knows. It's just told me to add it into the thing. Okay, sure. Well, let's stick that into the Docker container. Do that there, and then I'll need to do a dev container rebuild container. Containers in containers in containers. Didn't like something, I'm gonna end up in a tangent. What did you not like? Apparently this something isn't signed. No. Did not like. Didn't like that. Okay. That's a pain in the butt. Sure, I could add it into here. Let's just. See if I can add the Azure CLI in here. Let's do it here. Let's see, I'm not feeling particularly like that'll work, but let's do the rebuild. No, did not like. Didn't like that. Don't. I feel that's not. Alright, let's have a quick look. What's the install? You can just use it out. Wants to do this. Still. That's not particularly working. Tell you what, how about we try and run that inside the container ourselves. No, so it doesn't like something inside that particular package. Okay, I think part of the issue here is I might be running an old version of the Docker image. Let's go and look this up and see if there's a newer version of this. I think that's not helping us. That also is not particularly. We got base, .NET, Java, JavaScript node, TypeScript node, 16. So let's try and update. 16. Let's just rebuild. See if that helps us. Have a look at the log while we're doing it. It's pulling down image, so that's positive. Positive. Didn't like the post install instruction again. Okay, this is npm not being able to find a file. Do we actually need this file? Don't think we do. Not alright, definitely messed something up here. I think I have definitely. Okay, let's pull this here. So I've clearly been using a less than good image. So let's rebuild that container again. So we're going to get sidetracked here, and we're going to get sidetracked because dependencies. But that's okay. These things happen. We have to be able to solve and resolve these. Yeah, 20. Yeah, okay. Nemesis, I can see 22 actually looks like the latest. Well, at least 22 is the latest I have here. But I think I'm just gonna try and just stick to this latest one. There used to be a way that you could request features inside the spec, like when you were doing stuff. Yeah, it must be just to do with the Node version, rather than specifically TypeScript itself. So, but we'll find out in a minute. See what it's doing. It still doesn't like something in there. So if we dev, see what that wants to do now. Now this could also be my package may not. Oh no, there we go, it started. Opening browser. See if it actually renders. Actually gonna have a whole lot of problems because it's mostly missing stuff. Just thinking about it. Compiling here. So it's running Next.js 14.2.5. Okay, oh, that spun up. Cool. Now I'm just gonna. There used to be a way to. Because there's extensions, features. Here's what I'm looking for. The features tag. Which actually means we could get away with not doing any of this Docker container at all and actually just having it defined, which we might try and do. They're not really using these extensions, so going to replace this. We will rename this to be old, just so I have a reference at the moment. So I can get away without having that Docker container there as well. So we want TypeScript node. We don't do a version just so we get the latest. Docker and Docker. Okay, so let's see if that will work. See what our luck is here. Because it's much nicer not to have all these extra files if we don't need them. It makes it a bit more simple. Okay, it's doing a whole lot of stuff. Looks like it's setting up packages and everything. More downloading of things. Alright. Okay, particular errors. Not getting any errors. That seems positive. Let's pop up a new terminal. Web. Run dev. Make sure it still runs. Yep, that still seems to be running. Pop that open in the browser again. Let it let it compile, and we should be good. So there we go. That should resolve that, and now we should have the as just CLI inside our container. So kind of fix some dependency issues there, and giving ourselves access to HCLI and Docker and Docker, which means we should be able to build Docker images inside this image too, which is useful. Okay, so that all looks like that ran, and that's correct. That's there. Okay, great, cool. So if anyone wants it, this is the repo for dev containers that we should be using, and it's currently up to date. Let me bump this in the chats just in case anyone wants that as a reference, because it's good to know where we can grab our dev containers from. Okay, so pop that one off. All right. What was I doing? That's right. I'm checking the CLI because I'm still confused as to why this container app is not updating its details. So we should be able to do an AZ login here. One pass up into the browser. I will log in. Should be good. Retrieving tenants. And we will stay with the Visual Studio subscription. Okay. Now it's easy computer. Can't remember. Let's have a look. We go to the easy help. And we find. Okay. Now, where are we going to be? Container app. Alright. So we do AZ container app, and we do help again to get the list of what we can do. Okay. We'll do a list. Now, is it going to need a... No, it doesn't need a resource group, but we will need this resource group. That's interesting. So if we look at... do I have two container apps running? Have I done a thing? So let's go in here. I done a thing where I've created. This is why we can't see anything. Now we have a activation failed. That's at least something different. Target port 80 does not match the listening port 3000. Correct. But why haven't we been updated? Why haven't we been seeing an update? Well, because we haven't been updated. We haven't been looking at the right thing. That's okay. That is interesting though, because that does mean that we've deployed that container app. So you don't need to actually deploy that infra. Okay, that's right. That's right. We can simplify things then. I thought you had to deploy that There we go. Okay, so so if we update this target port to port 3000, we'll obviously need to accepting traffic from anywhere at the moment. So obviously we'd want that to be limited to a VNet in a more production sense. Alright, have we updated? We have updated. Okay, let's go see. Is that getting translated? May actually be like, hey, you should be hitting. Oh no, I was seeing if it was going to force me to translate to port 3000. It is not. That was great. So we are now actually running the app in the environment. Target port 3000. Can I set that inside the actual workflow? Most likely not. So this is most likely where it makes sense to actually deploy that infrastructure. Okay, apparently I'm missing the bicep because I already did the image. That's fine. Just check on my cat here, who's feeling a little under the weather. He should be okay. So we're going to update that target port. That's fine. Okay, cool. That should be fine. So we'll just do a back. Add. Not sure why that one. Did I miss a dash? I did. Okay. Push. Okay, cool. That might have kicked off a build. Oops, no, don't go back to me. Let's. Okay, yeah, so that's kicked off a couple of builds. It'll be interesting to see which one completes first. Bit of a race condition here. So we're building the image there, but we're also deploying the infrastructure. Now the infrastructure will go for latest. So it will be interesting to see which one we come back to here. Which one we're going to go for. Alrighty. infrastructure deploy. How's this one going? It's deploying to the container app. So they're kind of competing at the moment. Alright, okay, so we have successfully built this, and now we're deploying, should be deploying onto it. Let's do it without that. Now, when we do that, are we deploying? We are deploying the specific number. So that's also how we know we've deployed a specific version when we're not using latest. Latest is generally when something has changed with the infra. That's okay. Alright, build's done, that's done. Let's give this a refresh. Still doing the latest tag here. Cool. Alright, so what we should do now is we should validate that we are actually deploying and getting that refresh. So let's go ahead and make a change to the app. Source app. Let's see. Where is going to be a nice noticeable? There's logins there, so let's maybe do it at the bottom here. So we'll just do div. Just say hello from version 2. So now if we do, let's go and have a look. That looks like locally. Dev. Let's load, and then we should have that down the bottom here say hello from Eurovision or whatever we typed. There we go. Hello from version 2. So this is what we should see when we deploy. So that's all good. So let's do a add. Yeah. Adding new change. And let's push. Okay, cool. So now what we should have happen here is because we pushed a code change, we should be getting a code build and deploy. Okay. So now this should run through, build that new app, and then push that one through to the container app. Logged into Azure, log into Docker, building our image. Okay, that's done. So we've tagged the latest as well, and now we're pushing. So we're doing the latest push first. Okay, now we're doing our deploy. We did push. We only push one. Did only push latest. If we God. Should be pushing the run number. Stage repository. The 26 and latest. Should push 2, and then we should be running 26. Okay, what are we running? Containers. Which tag says latest, and if we reload. About it. Still says activating. Oh no. We are running hello first 2, so it's just still showing latest here. We do have a version here. Now, I wonder if I can do a version where I don't push latest, but I'm pushing, say, a development version. We are getting, the entire flow is working. We are building, deploying, and pushing. But what if I want to do something a little more interesting? And what I want to do then is detect when am I doing a push from a main branch and when am I not. So let's first figure out how do we detect it, what branch it is. So it's GitHub ref. Okay, so GitHub.ref will print the branch name. Okay. So we want to ask now, how are we going to get the action for the main branch? So we can do an if. Okay, so let's say, so this one here, we only ever want to tag it with latest if our GitHub ref is main. Otherwise, we don't want to do that. And what we'll do also, so we'll break this apart again. We'll say if main that was the wrong one. Just swap these over. Boop. This one. Put that there. Okay. Cool. So we should only push latest if it's main, but we should always be pushing the run number. And we should only ever be tagging latest if it's main. Still want to say push to primary, so this is only we still want that there. I think we want if here, and then we do a name. Okay, now we don't want we want to look for if it doesn't equal main. So that's the syntax I'm looking for. This does not equal main. Okay, and then I need to go look at that action. And how do I push a revision? It's the container name. So I want to push a specific revision for it. I also want to have a cleanup step to this one too. So don't want revisions to hang around forever. So let's go have a look at the actual stack. You can set the target port through here, that's interesting. You can also supply your own config. Build arguments, I don't want build arguments. Okay, no. How do I get it to deploy revision? Maybe I'll go watch Will's video. If you need someone to go watch definitely check out World Leader. Okay. So create Azure. This is a pre-release, but could be useful. Okay, so how do I use you? Because this is exactly what I do. I want to recreate a revision of the application. So this is doing exactly what I want to do. Okay, so here's, so we give it this, and then we go and add a comment. Okay, and then when a PR is closed, we have a deactivate. Sample implementation. Okay, so okay, so they're checking what the action type is here, so not just the branch, but so we say if the action type does not closed, then go ahead and do all of this. So, but this step here only runs if the action does not equal opened. And this only runs on PRs. Which actually may be a smarter way to do it rather than running it on every single branch. Good point. So this is actually a little redundant. Little bit redundant. So that's right, we'll clean that up. Because we don't want. So what we want to do is we want to leave. This is our main deploy, and then have a separate pipeline which does the PRs. Yeah, so we'll do a second one that does the PRs, and that's fine. But what I also want to have a look at is we might leave that for next time, but we've got our app running now. And we could always scale up our setting here. Now, does it give us any options? Resiliency option. What's the resiliency in preview? That's some. Don't think that's fine. So we don't need that. That's fine. So if we have scale, we can set scale rules. I'm just seeing if there's an option here for actually scaling out, and how we want to do that kind of scale out of when you're deploying to something that is running a bunch. How is it handled? Though in this case, what we'd also do, this production system, we're scaling to multiples. you would have multiple container app instances or container app environments running, and then you would deploy to each of those environments in turn rather than all environments at once. And you can do that in the pipeline through a matrix. But we'll certainly look at that. So what we might do is we might leave that here tonight. Getting a bit tired actually. It's been a eventful evening. So, but anyway, I hope everyone has at least taken something from this. It would be good. If not, just double check where you're deploying. Double check your names. Also be aware that your container apps, so you're deploying from, so you got your base deployment, but then you can also then you also are deploying from your web build, so that's all good. What is my change? Yeah, let's undo the discard the changes. That's fine. That's fine, because that's all working. Great. Yeah, I'll leave it here for tonight. I don't want to get stuck into anything else tonight. But code, as always, is available on GitHub. Let me go and link the repo up here. So this is an app we will continue to build at one point. Little game app that I'm working on just for some fun. But if you do want to have a look at what we're doing, it is at the following repo. Just paste it in the chats. Yeah, so I hope everyone has a great Friday or Thursday, depending on where you are. And everyone has a great weekend. And I will catch you all next time. Alright, have a good one, everyone.